a podcast to honor the gods.
This better come with a sacrifice.
Dave X Media.
There are parties, and then there are huge, major blowout parties, and then there are Olympian parties. If you ever get a choice, go for the Olympian. The 9 muses cranked up the tunes, and I realized the music was whatever you wanted it to be. The gods could listen to classical, and the younger demigods could hear hip-hop or whatever, and it was all the same soundtrack. No arguments, no fights to change the radio station, just requests to crank it up. Dionysus went around growing refreshment stands out of the ground, and a beautiful woman walked with him, arm in arm, his wife, Ariadne. Dionysus looked happy for the first time. Nectar and ambrosia overflowed from golden fountains, and platters of mortal snack food crowded the banquet tables. Golden goblets filled whatever drink you wanted. Grover trotted around with a full plate of tin cans and enchiladas, and his goblet was full of double espresso latte, which he kept muttering over like an incantation. Pan! Pan! Gods kept coming up to congratulate me. Thankfully, they had reduced themselves to human size, so they didn't accidentally trample partygoers under their feet. Hermes started chatting with me, and he was so cheerful. I hated to tell him what had happened to his least favorite son, Luke, but before I could even get up the courage, Hermes got a call on his caduceus and walked away.
What is hosting a podcast if not reading Wikipedia out loud on the internet?
For real? Who wants to go to Wikipedia themselves?
I spend all of my time there, so... Welcome to Of the Eldest Gods, where we discuss Rick Riordan's role as our godly parent.
I am Ray from Cabin 12.
And I'm Charlie from Cabin 13.
And I'm Erica from, I guess, Cabin 7. Boo.
I can't believe this. Some salt.
I'm just embarrassed. It's
I
okay.
mean,
He's just a little guy.
We did meet him in this book, and it's like...
Oh, yeah. Like, weird, the fact that we're talking about Titan's Curse today, and on my podcast, we're currently in the middle of Trials of Apollo, really makes me extra embarrassed.
Oh, I see.
Spoilers!
Charlie, the fact that books exist is not a spoiler.
I know it's not. The name of the book is not a spoiler, but still.
Anyways, so we have a guest on today. Pretty cool. You want to tell the people about your podcast?
Hey, everybody. It's lovely to be here for the first time in this new podcasting space of the Eldest Gods. I am Erica. I'm one half of Seaweed Brain. My co-host Carter was supposed to be here today, but is misorganized, and so has given me permission to violently, verbally disparage them for not making it here today. But I will be here to speak for both of us. I definitely know exactly how Carter feels about every single sentence in this chapter, so I feel well equipped to represent Seaweed Brain here today.
Excellent.
You are the brain of Seaweed Brain.
That's actually not true at all. I think anybody who listens to our podcast knows that's not even remotely true. Carter is really smart, but that doesn't mean that they know how to use Google Calendars.
True.
Okay, Charlie and our brand is practically having ADHD, so...
It's okay.
So we get it.
Yeah.
I'm definitely the seaweed of Seaweed Brain.
Good to know. Good to know. Well, we'd also like to know a little bit more about you, like your pronouns and how you got into the series, all the good stuff.
She and they pronouns are fine. I definitely have said before that I am a child of Poseidon, and like that is, to be clear, that's wishful thinking. Like when I am feeling really confident in myself, that's what I will say. When I'm being really honest, I obviously am a child of Apollo. Disgusting. But yeah, I read these books as a kid. It was like 5th grade. My Christian elementary school didn't allow us to read Harry Potter.
Oh, God.
We did
But
anyway.
they thought this was fine.
For some reason, my
Oh, boy.
specifically 5th grade teacher was really okay with and into Percy Jackson, and I do think it has something to do with the line in The Lightning Thief about how capital G God does exist. And so they were like, great, that's totally fine. My parents didn't care. They quickly pulled me out of that school, honestly, but they loved that I was into Percy Jackson and that I could name all the 12 Olympians. They would when we were at family events, they'd be like, Erica, first do all the presidents and then do all the gods. Look at how smart our kid is. Talk about
Incredible.
Gifted kid burnout. Now I'm an actor
Ooh.
and I host my podcast.
Yeah, good shit. Well, what did we fucking do this week? What did we waited for the gods to vote to kill us?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what that chapter says, which is not entirely accurate. We like to roast Rick's chapter titles here.
Ooh.
I mean, that also feels topical because it's like election time.
Yes. I was thinking about that too.
It's not going to be when this episode comes out.
That's true. But it is November 12th as we are recording this.
Yes. So that just happened for the US. The rest of y'all, I don't know what you're doing, but
Ooh, midterms.
The basic US consensus is it could have been worse. So that's where we're at.
Definitely could have been worse.
What
So
happened?
yeah, let me tell y'all. Let me give y'all a little bit of the rundown. Okay, Blackjack and the boys bring our heroes straight to Olympus. No travel time. We're good. We crash the solstice meeting and spend a little time thinking about how the gods are very big. And then it's like a little awkward because it turns out that they were talking about them and, whether or not to murder them all. It's fine. Talia decides that she would like to stall her little birth date deadline by forever by joining the Hunters.
Yay!
This is good news for Percy, because he thought Annabeth was going to do it, and also bad news for Percy, because it looks like he's the prophecy kid now, so that's great. Percy convinces the gods that killing innocents is, kind of bad, and now Bessie gets to live in a cool aquarium, and since they're not dead, the gods throw them a rockin' party, and then they get to, hang out with the people who were just thinking about murdering them. Percy chats with his dad, who is kind of chill, and then Athena, who's a little less chill. Basically, Luke isn't dead, and Percy had better think about that fatal flaw thing. And then they have a little dance. Percy and Annabeth get to finish that dance finally. And that's the chapter.
Oh.
Yeah. I was really trying to find a good Percabeth chapter out of the chapters we had left to give to y'all. So
this is
did I
a
do it?
strong Percabeth book, even though she's not here.
yeah.
This is my favorite book in the original series. It's always been my favorite book. Even when I had gone years without reading the books and finally dove back into them in 2020, I remember distinctly that this was my favorite book, and it has remained such. It is so fantastic, even though Annabeth isn't even in it, which is hard because we love Annabeth here at Seaweed Brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic. When you said chapter 19, I'm not quite such a Percy Jackson fan that I knew exactly what that was off the top of my head.
Mhm,
So when I started reading it, I was like, oh my god, this chapter is so good. There's so much going on. I distinctly remember us reading out loud all of page 298 on our show, which is the conversation between Athena and Percy, where she points out his fatal flaw, literally spells it out for him.
Mm-hmm.
Which I forgot didn't happen until this book, because you think it would have happened in Sea of Monsters, but it did not.
Right? They have a whole conversation about it, and then it doesn't really come up again until now. Which
Yeah.
I kind of, I appreciate the power of that move,
Yes. Right before she says, I do not approve of your friendship with my daughter, which is one of my favorite things that Athena says in the entire series.
Friendship. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. Also, all the moments of Annabeth going, Mother! I love it. Just it
Beautiful.
heals me. It's like taking zinc. I'm like, Mother! I can't wait to see Leah delivering a strong
Leah.
mother. It's gonna be great.
Yes. Oh,
All right,
it's,
Charlie,
It's so good.
lead us in.
Oh,
We're gonna stop
well-
talking about Percy Jackson for a second.
Well, we're going to be talking about Mother. So,
Oh, yeah, true.
Queen Mother.
so in case you missed it,
But,
we're going to talk about Athena and yeah, all the Greek mythology stuff to do with her. All right.
It's
Well,
rough.
already we have 3 different names at the top of this page. Athena or Athene or Pallas, which is technically an epithet, but sometimes
Pallas Athena.
yeah, they just call her that, and it's very
do
confusing.
they? Huh.
It depends.
Mhm.
It depends on who's doing the telling, right? Who's doing the storytelling.
Right, yeah. I've heard Pallas Athena plenty of times, but I've never heard just Pallas, so I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, there's also, like, several different versions of how she got the name Pallas, which usually involves murder.
Of course
it's
it
great.
does.
I think every single one of them involves murder, actually. I lied. Every single one of them. So she's the goddess of wisdom, warfare, handicrafts. That's not all. There's more. Why it doesn't say weaving on here? I mean, I guess handicraft is
I think
weaving.
that they're putting weaving under there probably, which is whatever.
And of course, Athens is named after her. We've gone over extensively the Athens foundational myth where she gives them an olive tree, and Poseidon either gives them a saltwater spring or a horse. There is the version where he gives them a horse, and they still choose an olive tree over a horse.
Okay, did he make the horse then? Or did horses exist and he was like, you can have this one?
And it was Blackjack. And that day he was born.
But she's got a million freaking symbols here. Owls, serpents. Why is there a horse on the animals list? Why? I have questions. What horse
consistency?
did she steal from Poseidon?
Who cares?
There is none, actually. It's Greek mythology. There is never any consistency.
The kingdom was big and everybody had different ideas.
Indeed. And it was there for a little bit of time, so...
Yeah. The olive tree, of course. So her parents, Zeus and Metis, always love that story of how Zeus just ate his wife.
Okay.
There's different version of it. Sometimes he turns her into a fly and then eats her, and then I think there's a version where he just absorbs her so he can take her wisdom or something. But really, it's all because of a prophecy or something, because his second child would overthrow him. His second child by Metis.
Ah, I see. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we love that.
Whatever. Zeus, I hate you.
We all hate Zeus. He's the fucking worst. And she has no children in mythology. So, how Annabeth exist?
Maiden goddess.
Very much a maiden goddess. She adopted Erichthonius, and that's the only child she claims. Also, don't look into his birth.
Oh,
fucking weird.
I don't want to. I would just like to mention very quickly that Erichthonius is a really funny name. It's like if you were named Eric and you had to come up with like a convincing Greek name. That's all.
You know what? We're just gonna call him Eric. Anytime he comes up, his name is Eric from now on.
Good that we cleared that up.
And of course, her Roman equivalent is Minerva, who is not a war goddess at all. Sorry. Rome is like, we're gonna make everyone else like warriors and all that, but like, Athena, no, we're taking that away. Rude. Fucking rude.
Maybe she just eventually thought about it a lot because she's wise and stuff and was like, hey, going to war is maybe bad. And then the rest of them were like, actually, this rules.
Oh, I'd love that if there was like a canon like reason why she's like goes to Rome, everyone is like, yeah, war. And she's like, oh, this is popular now.
I have to rethink some things.
I don't want to be into war now because everyone else is. Obviously, she's hipster. Well, yeah, so we all know that she's born from Zeus's head. Indeed. And that's because Zeus ate her mom. It's not because Zeus just birthed her himself. And in a few versions, it's like she's forging her own like armor and everything inside of his head, and that's what's making him have such a big headache. So Hephaestus comes in with a hammer and is like, okay. And it cracks open his head and Athena is born. That Greek mythology, this is how it works.
Yeah, why not?
Does that make any sense? Does it? Not really.
I love that Rick decided that for this series that the kids were going to pop out of Athena's head instead of being like the people who Athena wanted to give a child, the child would pop out of their heads. Oh, like if Frederick was like, what is this headache?
That. Yeah, you're right. This is much better.
That would be so funny. Yeah. Oh, also one of her other main epithets is Parthenos, which it's Athena Parthenos. She's Athena the Virgin. Again, maiden goddess. Rick, do you understand that?
That makes me think of the Parthenon. Isn't that where somebody... No, I'm probably conflating some things. Did somebody fuck in the Parthenon? Because I was feeling like somebody fucked in an Athena temple and got in trouble, the Medusa thing.
I don't think it's the Parthenon necessarily that she fucked in.
Okay.
But, like, that would be great.
It would be very funny. In the Can't Get Laid temple.
She was raped.
I know.
Yeah.
It was not like a fun, like, sneaky, consensual time.
Didn't want to think about it.
Oh yeah, Medusa and Poseidon, they were girlfriend-boyfriends. Ugh, Rick. Why did you do that?
Poseidon was almost just as bad as Zeus.
Other people did it first. It's not just his fault, but...
Okay, I think Poseidon was worse than Zeus, personally.
I think that numbers-wise, technically Zeus is slightly more of a perpetrator in myth than Poseidon, but they were both sneaky little shapeshifters who did many things in order to violate many people.
Many very, very bad things.
Yeah, I hate them both. The fucking worst.
And we just have to pretend that none of that happened in order to read a fun book series.
Yeah, well, the Riordan-verse versions of the Olympians are completely different from the various versions of the Olympians that we have throughout antiquity. For example, Athena. We do not stand mythological Athena.
Yeah, no.
We do stand Riordan-verse Athena.
Greek mythology Athena is like the man's goddess. They were like, oh,
she's not
here
a girl's
you go.
girl.
Here's a woman. We did it. We did the thing. But, like, she is terrible to other women in so many ways. Like the Arachne thing. I'm sorry, I'm on Arachne's side.
Yep.
Like, yeah, don't tell the gods, hey, I'm so much better than you. But also, like, Athena, you didn't have to, like, go that far. You didn't have to.
Athena is like when a writer thinks that they need more diversity, and so they take one of their characters and turn him into a girl, and then don't change anything besides making him hot, because obviously. And then she is just, like, weird and misogynistic all the time, and you're like, why did you... Who wrote this?
You're so correct. Oh, God.
It's the original girl boss.
Yeah, true. Here we go. Do we have any other cool epithets in here? Tritogenia, which means Triton-born. I forgot there's, like, a weird connection where she might be, like, raised by Triton, and it's weird. And that's the version where she befriends Triton's daughter, Pallas, and they're fighting, they're training together, and she murders Pallas. She murders her best friend.
Oof.
Yeah, it's a great time.
It happens sometimes.
Oh, okay, here we go. Here's a gray thing. Her most common epithet is bright-eyed or gleaming eyes or gray eyes. So gray-eyed Athena, canon.
Oh, that's nice.
Rick didn't invent it. We love that.
It's always fun to find out that Rick isn't just, like, whole cloth making everything up.
No, he just made up Zoe Nightshade.
My beautiful girl.
I love her.
I really don't want to talk about Erichthonius. It's like, it's an important anecdote, but it's, like, real gross of Hephaestus. So I think, yeah. So Hephaestus is like, hey, I like Athena, we're both nerds. And this is when he tries to rape her. Doesn't really work out. Instead, he impregnates Gaia, the Earth. And that's how Erichthonius is born, and Athena then adopts him. It's a weird time. It's a weird time. And of course, mentioned a lot in Sea of Monsters, her favorite hero is Odysseus, because he's the cunning boy. What an asshole.
Sometimes smart and wisdom are not the same. Sometimes I worry that their definition of wisdom is not exactly the same as our definition of wisdom. Because sometimes your boy Odysseus could do some dumbass shit.
It's more the trickery thing. And that's weird, because you'd think that'd be Hermes.
Nah.
Hermes is more like tricksters, and Athena is more like battle strategy. But obviously there's gray area between the two.
Yeah, I feel like Odysseus is, like, both at the same time.
I'm also pretty sure Odysseus is related to Hermes.
Oh, huh. That would make sense,
Like
actually.
his grandson or great-grandson or something.
Before we get into the chapter, well, since as we're beginning the chapter, let's just mention real quick, Charlie, you messaged me.
Yeah, that's true.
They fly some winged horses to Olympus, unlike Bellerophon, who fucked it up.
One of my favorites.
We had an entire episode of just roasting this fucking guy.
Because his entire thing in mythology is that he wants to be so cool, and then he isn't. He's just he's a son of Poseidon. His only cool power is that he is a horse boy. He's good with Pegasus. Him and Pegasus are bros, and so he's like, I'm the greatest of all time. And he tries to fly to Olympus with Pegasus. Zeus is like, no, you ain't going to Olympus. And I think he sends a gadfly to to interrupt Pegasus, and Bellerophon falls off to his death. But Pegasus is still allowed to go to Olympus. It's fine.
I love that. So basically we're really lucky that this whole thing worked out, because I guess Zeus was distracted.
They're flying Pegasi to Olympus. I'm sorry.
He's in the meeting.
There is precedent where Zeus would just shoot them out of the sky. And, of course, it's Percy, so why wouldn't he? I'm surprised you let him go.
There's a lot of talk about Zeus shooting people out of the sky, and we've actually never really seen it. You know, every time Percy's in the air, he's like, oh my god, Zeus is gonna get me, and he's always fine.
You are so right.
I still have my little theory that, maybe Zeus somehow knew that Sally was going to give birth to, a child of the prophecy, and that's why her parents died in a plane crash.
Oh, 100%. I feel like we do not talk about the plane crash enough.
I think plane crashes are just convenient, guys.
There are two reasons why she doesn't go on a plane. One, it's because of Zeus. Two, it's because of Zeus!
100%.
All right. Well, this fucking chapter. Yep. I'm glad Percy is terrified of flying straight up to Zeus's palace though. Immediately, that's what he goes into.
Yeah, it's normally a good call. So, like I said, he must just be a little busy.
Yeah, I mean, he is arguing and talking to Grover as well. All that stuff is happening. Winter just doesn't exist here, so that's good to know. It's just how Camp Half-Blood does not have weather. Mm-hmm. Olympus also just doesn't have weather.
I feel like that's almost a mistake. You need some variety. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'm just gonna say pocket dimension confirmed. They're in a pocket dimension.
True. Definitely.
So Blackjack and the boys leave them. I love that you called them Blackjack and the Boys, and now that's a band name that needs to happen.
It does kind of slap. I would listen to Blackjack and the Boys.
They would just do covers of the Eagles. And it would be awesome. And only Percy could hear them, because they'd be singing in Horse.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah, in Horse, yeah.
There's also this beautiful description of Olympus as they're flying in, which is just, I love how Rick never lets the majesty of Olympus, fail to impress us. Especially Percy is always, every time he goes there, he is like, wow. The torches are glowing and it's lighting everything up in different colors from blood red to indigo. Rick is the visual descriptions king.
He so is. And you're right that it's important that it's consistent, that it's always something when you go there that you're like, wow, I can't get over it, you know?
Yeah, it's beautiful. Well, Erica, I have a question for you. How do you think Blackjack sounds when he talks? Because we have our own theories. Yeah.
Hey, boss. You want me to just leave it here? Like that.
Oh yeah. You got it.
Yeah.
What? Is he supposed to sound somehow else?
No, that's definitely it. He's an Italian mobster.
Yeah.
We confirmed this last chapter because one of the other Pegasi was named some kind of Italian mobster word.
There was Guido and
Guido?
Pork Pie.
Guido.
Yeah.
Yes. There we are. I don't know things. But everyone has different answers, so apparently people don't pick up on that.
It's I don't know that he's Italian necessarily, but he definitely is a New Yorker.
Oh, yeah. You're so right.
Yeah. Have you heard the audiobook, though?
I've never listened to the OG ones.
I've only heard stories of people telling me how bad it is, and God,
Hey, boss.
no.
Worse.
He whinnies like a horse when he talks.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Don't like it.
I haven't actually heard, like, this book in years, but I can hear it, and it's bad.
Don't like it.
It haunts you.
I feel so bad for that reader. We just roast him every time, but anyways.
Oh, yeah. I swear, in the Riordanverse League Discord, didn't Fran suggest that, like, you read the audiobooks, Erica? I swear that happened.
I would never want to do audiobook narration for a series that's, like, actually popular, because you're never going to please everyone, you know?
True.
Everybody has different interpretations. If somebody is, like, reading the book and then they listen to the audiobook, you are going to disappoint them.
Yeah. It's fine.
It's a hard job.
But you know what? I think you do a great job. I think you do it.
Thanks, boss. Can we talk about how Zoe's constellation is visible from the throne room? Because, wow.
Already.
That's so, like, just the fact that she's being honored already and how important that is.
Beautiful. Amazing.
This image of, like, or, like, the, what do I want to say? Like, the sensory detail of the silence that happens when Percy and Annabeth and Talia walk in, and it's just Grover turning around immediately from talking to Zeus and running over to them, like, and all you hear are, like, the clip-clops of Grover's hooves.
Terrifying.
And the water splashing in Bessie's orb, and everybody is silent.
I was gonna say the same thing.
That, like, really, I instantly remember that, like, the way that I pictured it in my head when I was a kid, it just comes right back to me with Zeus staring down at Talia. This is such a specific, like, terrifying setting that's seared into my memory.
Well, I feel like it's because it's so eminently relatable. Like, everybody knows what that feels like when you walk into a room late and everyone just looks at you and every noise is, like, amplified and echoes through the space. Yeah, that entire paragraph just, like, describing sounds, but it has this entirely different feeling because you know what that feels like.
And the specificity, like the fact that it's like an empty marble room and you can imagine what it sounds like, goat's hooves on empty marble just like echoing throughout the room. Terrifying.
And then there are just like 12 giant people staring at you as you walk in.
It's otherworldly. It's like, despite the fact that like Apollo's listening to an iPod and like Ares is kind of like looking down at them sharpening a knife and it's all very quirky, it is still very scary and very much like you still have to like bow at the magnificence of the gods and their power in the throne room.
That's what I feel like they really messed up with in the film adaptation. That's something that like really annoyed me, is that the gods are just wearing like Greek armor when I run into them.
Yeah,
and
that annoyed me as a kid too.
They're supposed to be silly little guys. Like, you need to like balance the intimidation and the fact that they are like inherently ridiculous. They're very into their one thing.
I really also, when I was reading this chapter today, was just so struck by kind of switching my mental visuals from the way that I imagined the gods as a kid to the actors that we now know are cast. I literally, like, I did a quick mental switch up where I was like, Jason Mantzoukas is twirling the grapevines in his fingers. And like Adam Copeland is literally sharpening a knife. Terrifying. And like Lin-Manuel Miranda on his phone, like winking down at Percy in a business suit. And I was like, this is insane. And then I pictured like our little trio like walking in there and Leah Jeffries going, "Mother!" Oh my God. I was just so excited.
Oh, I really hope we do get like little details like that in the show. Oh, I want it so bad. Because you're right, that is such a strong visual image.
It's gotta be good. It's gotta be good.
Got about 5 years till we see this scene, but it'll be worth it.
Don't remind me. I'm gonna be so old. We're getting big hugs from Grover. We made it.
Yeah.
And then Artemis is like, she becomes like small in front of them, which I feel like the gods don't do when they're in this council very much.
Yeah, that's a very interesting play from her to like put herself on the same level as them.
Yeah, because they like to look down on you, but she's just like, nope, I'm gonna like stand with my buddies now because they saved my life.
Yes, she is really advocating for them. She is like running around. You also really, I feel like, get that sense of the way that she is kind of Zeus's favorite child, and that she has these abilities to act in certain ways that the rest of the gods don't, because she really is like running around challenging all of them, being like, we have to honor them. Like, Father, don't we have to honor them?
I feel like she gets away with a lot, partially because of her reputation. She's like, oh, I'm just a wild girl. You can't control me. I'm not going to follow the rules. And they're like, fine, whatever.
#rebel.
I also feel like she has the work to back it up, you know? Like, she is
True.
busy. She is taking care of a lot of things, hunting down beasts and, like, taking care of her commune, you know? And what is everybody else doing? She has demonstrated that she can create and run her own secret society, so.
Yeah.
Oh my god, secret society. Well, so Athena is going to check on, like, the other titans, is what we're hearing here. And Poseidon is given permission to unleash his full fury on the Princess Andromeda. How well do you think that's going to go over?
Feels like he's never, I really don't think he did that. Like, his full fury really was not. And I get that there's the whole, like, the other sea gods are protecting Luke and stuff.
Right.
But it still feels like we had to plot armor that one a little bit to protect the Princess Andromeda from just being straight up sunk.
Definitely.
Like, why is it only just now that we can straight up sink it? Why couldn't we sink it before?
Poseidon did not put his whole Poseidonocy into trying to sink the Princess Andromeda. He was phoning it in 100%.
I think Percy could do it better than Poseidon.
Yeah, honestly.
Absolutely.
Like, with Percy's boat control, the idea that Poseidon can't just sink a ship that's on the ocean right now is like, okay, fine, whatever. Plot armor it up.
Yeah, just a little bit. Oh, and then we get, like, okay, so the descriptions of the gods. So, like, Poseidon's in his usual look, Zeus in his usual look. First time we see Hera, in a peacock dress.
Feathers.
Love that.
Crazy.
Hephaestus with like a wild man with like fire flickering in his hair.
Those creative types, you know.
Yeah.
Always lighting their hair on fire. What can you do?
Just a little bit. I'm definitely imagining like the like Hagrid with like the fire in his hair. Like
honestly,
that's literally it.
Totally agree. Yes.
And then he's also got his leg in a steel brace because he is disabled god. We stand.
Yes.
Yeah. Hermes is just business suit. Why couldn't he just be in a tracksuit today? Why is he all business?
He's a professional? Excuse me.
I can't wait to see Lin-Manuel Miranda in a Juicy Couture velvet tracksuit.
God.
Yes.
Today was the first day since that announcement that I have like actually accepted it. I feel like reading this chapter and like placing him there in my mind, I was like, no, I get it. I get it. I see it. I see the vision. It's happening.
It does like take a second. And then you're like, okay.
Yes.
I think I saw like a TikTok where it described like, oh yeah, he's played this role before, like Hermes and Hamilton, like same guy. God, I can't say it again, but like
nonstop.
Yeah,
God,
nonstop. Hermes is the millennial god. I can never stop saying that. He's the god who has like 5 million jobs. And does not stop working. Yeah, Apollo looking hella cool, as always.
I miss Titan's Curse Apollo. I will take Titan's Curse Apollo over Lester Papadopoulos any day.
Oh boy.
Oh man.
I think it's funny he's not even paying attention.
I mean, he is. He just also has headphones on. Because he totally is the first one to speak here.
True. We also get Demeter here for the first time, I think.
Demeter in the first time. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the female gods here they're all in like just shimmering gowns and robes and shit, and like the guys are like, yeah, what's up?
Yeah, it's unfortunate that women can't be like kind of weird and funny as much.
Can we get funky goddesses, please? I want some more funky goddesses. I want them.
It's clear that Rick has not developed them as much in his Riordan sense quite yet. The ones we haven't met yet.
Yep.
At least Artemis is cool, but
True. But she's still, like, in, like, just a white gown or silver robes. Yeah.
I wish that Athena was still in her khaki tour guide outfit.
Yeah.
Yes. I just miss Artemis in her, like, her gray camo and, like, silver parka. I miss that.
It is a look.
So Apollo tries to do his thing, and I'm glad Hermes cuts him off.
Yeah, we can't be having that.
No more haikus. We're done.
I just want to say at least they did not cast Lin-Manuel Miranda as Apollo.
Yeah, that would be a terrible omen.
It almost would make more sense to me, but I get it. Again, I see the vision. Rick, you're in charge. It's great. It's gonna be great.
Oh boy. Well, at least we already have people being like, okay, let's not disintegrate them. Let's not do that. And then we got so much back and forth. Poseidon and Zeus are like, don't kill my children. No thank you. And Athena's like, well, don't kill my daughter, but like...
The other two, I love the absolute, like, just my personal imagery of Athena and, like, her tiger motherness is just so spot on in this moment where she's like, my daughter saved everyone, but the other two are dangerous. Like, and my daughter would frankly never get involved with them. Like, just trying to separate her progeny from the troublemakers.
Have you seen Turning Red? Because those vibes. Like, I see that these naughty kids you've been hanging out with have been steering you wrong.
Exactly, just like completely refusing to accept the fact that like they're all friends. Like, because her daughter would never.
Oh my god.
So the people who vote not to disintegrate them are Hermes and Aphrodite. So we know why Aphrodite doesn't want to disintegrate them, because she's like cares about her ship. And then Demeter. And it's like, I feel like Rick still thinks that Demeter is soft, which is not the vibe.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, so it's an interesting choice that like those are the ones pointed out as like not wanting to disintegrate them immediately.
Yeah, and then Artemis just like, we have to reward them. Apollo, calm down, sis. Don't call me sis. God, they're just, can Artemis just like chill a little? I love their banter, but like...
No, I think Artemis needs to do the opposite. I think she needs to chill less. I think she should shoot Apollo in the face, frankly, with her arrows.
You are so right. Like, please.
Apollo is wrong always.
Can you imagine having Apollo for a brother? You would act like this too.
He would never be anything short of condescending, and he would constantly make you feel like you were being dramatic. And that's why she ran away and started her own secret society.
Listen, I'm an only child, so I don't understand the sibling dynamics.
And I don't talk to men, so I can't possibly comprehend this conversation for her. It must be so hard.
Amazing. So glad for you.
A delightful moment here that I'd like to call out is Athena calls Ares thick-headed, and Ares is like, why I oughta, and then Dionysus...
Why I oughta?
He just, like, grows him a grape seat belt and is like, calm down. Dionysus is so good this book.
Yeah.
I will say it over and over again.
He is. This really is his shining moment. Poseidon being like, you named the Ophiotaurus Bessie?
Yeah!
Gets me every time.
I don't know why that's just, like, making me think of the Twilight thing. Like, you name my daughter after the Loch Ness Monster?
God.
It's just like, why? Why did you do that?
And I think that it's so funny that that's his dad saying that. Like, son, but why? I feel like that's a really interesting moment of, like, him getting to see Percy's actual personality a little bit.
Yes, exactly.
And how dumb his son is.
Goofy. They're just the gods are so well characterized. The ones that we've met before. Like, I can see exactly what Poseidon would be like. Wait, what?
Yeah.
I thought we were vibing, son, but you did what? That's kind of weird.
Yeah, this is the Percabeth moment. Artemis choosing a new lieutenant.
Oh my god. He's like having a panic attack.
Oh
son.
My god. The absolute obliviousness of Percy in this moment. Thinking, like, and again, right, this whole book is Percy's journey with toxic masculinity, with him comparing himself to Hercules, figuring out what kind of boy he's going to be, learning from the hunters, like, how to control himself and all this stuff, after jumping in and deciding he is going to be a part of this quest and all of that. And again, here he is, standing in the throne room, thinking this is somehow about him. you know?
Mhm.
But I am the chosen one. He's literally like, oh my god, Annabeth is going to abandon me. Like, what am I going to say? And meanwhile, like, Annabeth literally is not thinking, is not listening to him in the slightest, is
Nope.
literally squeezes Talia's hand like she knew this all along. Because obviously she did, because to anyone besides Percy, it would be extremely obvious that Talia is going to become the lieutenant. But to him, and because we're in his perspective, he's like, what? Like, what?
Yeah.
You mean Annabeth isn't leaving me?
Like, Percy is, like, freaking out, and Annabeth is, like, literally, what's up? Because it has never even occurred to her.
No, I'm like, I have to agree with that. Like, she had the pamphlets, right? I think that she thought about it when she was getting initially recruited. I think she absolutely, like, had her thought process, but very quickly came to the decision that this was not right for her. She knew I think she was pretty clear, like, probably before she got kidnapped, that this was not her path, you know?
And I would bet that has a lot less to do with, like, boys and whatever, and a lot more to do with, like, not really wanting to go camping for the rest of her life. She's going to be an architect, okay?
Exactly. It's just not in her vision. She has not that the hunters don't have an incredible impact on society, and they do very important things, but Annabeth has very big dreams, right? She literally thinks she's smarter than the gods. She has accomplishments and things she wants to get done that she would simply not get done with the hunters.
Yeah, Annabeth would much rather grow up than be immortal, and those are really interesting priorities, and I love her.
She frankly wants to be famous. She, like, needs people
Yeah.
to know her name, and that would not happen with the hunters.
That is so true.
And Percy's just like, wait, she's gonna leave me. Like, oh my god. Like, the only thing that he's thinking about with the hunters is the fact that obviously they want to get to be together eventually.
Okay.
Should she join?
Talia put that in his brain earlier this book, though, so...
I love Talia. She
True.
really is trolling everyone all the time.
Like, we already had, like, Talia. Now you're getting me to do it. Thalia is how I seriously
Oh.
say.
That's okay.
Sorry, Charlie.
I respect you.
I like to say it with, like, the Greek way where it's, like, the TH sound. Yeah, so, like, we already had her and Zoe talking, like, a few times in like the past couple chapters. And like them like having the knowing looks and things. Like, Percy.
Yeah, her and Artemis, yeah.
Percy, you saw it. You told us about it. Pay the fuck attention. Like, come on.
He has a very one-track mind.
He
He's easily
really
distracted.
does.
He has ADHD.
He does. It's true. Yeah, so Thalia just being like, I'm not gonna turn 16. I'm good. I'll just be 15 forever. And that's fine with me.
She really cut that close, but...
She really looks at him and is like, well, you're the kid of the prophecy now. And he goes, great.
Yeah, she gives him a big hug and is like, good luck, buddy.
So rude. Yeah, so now we gotta vote again. Like, I mean, this is just all voting.
Okay, once more, Grover gives Annabeth and Thalia hugs when they come in, early in the chapter. And then Thalia gives everyone hugs after she's a hunter, and then Grover has to be, like, fucking weird about it. Like, shut up, my boy! I'm so done with him this entire book. That's all. Why you gotta be so horny?
Wait, what does Grover do?
Oh, because she's a hunter now.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Oh, yeah. And he's like, you can't hug people.
Yeah, and also his totally gross thing about how he's in love with the hunters and Artemis.
Uh-huh.
And, this book is just recalled. We're gonna call it, Grover's Cancelled now. It's done. Well, Percy's like, I can handle this. We got 2 more years. I think I'm good. Like, just, don't kill Bessie. Keep him in an aquarium. It'll be all, it's all good, guys. I will accept the prophecy. Just don't kill me.
Percy really goes to bat for Bessie here.
Yeah, well, they had a special bond. And, once again, Ray, I know we disagree on the whole, like, oh, it's the children of the big 3 have a connection to Bessie. And I'm like, I think it's specifically Percy. And
That's literally what happens in the book, but okay.
This chapter proves that it was always gonna be Percy and Bessie. Like, Thalia could not have called Bessie. I don't think she could have. It's only Percy.
Wait, what happens? He's
the proud child of the prophecy now, like, officially. Like, Thalia is no longer in the running. So, like,
true.
It's almost like she never was.
There are still...
I know what you mean.
There's still 2 years. But
I'm just saying.
No, we never say that Bessie has anything to do with the prophecy.
True.
And Thalia, really clearly has, things with Bessie earlier. Your interpretation is valid. I do not agree with you.
This is such an important moment for Percy, though, because he goes on an entire rant to the Olympians about how you cannot destroy innocence and how... Because remember, Percy does not really care about the gods, right? No. Percy is not impressed. He is impressed by their majesty, but he is not respectful of their power in a very important way. And he wants to point out to them the fact that there's a war that is being waged between the Titans and the gods, and if they really want the demigods on their side, then they need to prove that they're not as bad as the Titans. That killing Bessie wouldn't be the same as Kronos eating his children, just because of what might happen. Because Percy is only 14 in this book, but he already knows that you cannot control a prophecy. He says it to the gods. I
know,
he says,
right?
Controlling the prophecies never works.
He's smart.
I was like, whoa. My boy learned some lessons in the first 3 books of these series.
Oh, yeah.
He's not dumb. He's a really smart kid, actually.
I love that Percy is, overcome with awe by things a lot of the time. And then, as soon as something fucked up happens, he's like, hold on a second.
Exactly. He is impertinent, and he does not stand for that which is not right.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So, only Dionysus, Ares, and Athena disagree with, this whole plan. Dionysus, of course, because of all the issues he's been dealing with in this book. When he turned Percy into his therapist that one chapter. He's like, I'm just gonna rant to you about my problems.
I really think Dionysus votes to disintegrate them just so that he doesn't think they're getting soft.
True.
Yeah, he reads the room, and he's like, okay, it's gonna be fine, so I'm just not gonna vote.
Yeah. Yeah, but he does actually care. Just a little bit.
He cares so much.
But still, bro... We've been, I thought we had a real connection this book, and you're gonna let me get disintegrated? Come on.
Yeah. And then Ares obviously just hates Percy. And Athena is like, stay away from my daughter.
Period. If we disintegrate Percy, then she doesn't have to worry about her daughter not getting into a good college, you know?
Yeah.
No distractions. I will disintegrate your boyfriend.
Yep, that's how that works.
Athena's one of those people who's always like, no, for all of these perfectly logical reasons, I'm so right. I've never been wrong about anything in my entire life. Ignore that I could have any personal reasons for anything. I'm just right, obviously.
And she is so, oh my god, she is infuriating. The way that she, because she says she's like, well, I am right, but it's not up to me to decide. She says, right? I only pass, she says, I do not pass judgment. I only point out the risk. What we do, the council must decide. She is high and mighty.
Yeah. I mean, in that way, she kind of is like her actual mythology counterpart.
Yes.
Yeah.
But anyway, party.
Party time. It's party time. I wonder what songs are playing. Like,
they're playing every song, whatever song you want.
Well, like, what do you think Percy is, like, really hearing for most of this? It's like, this is 2008, right?
Percy's hearing Fall Out Boy.
Good.
But I don't think that it's, like, a real Fall Out Boy song. It's, like, a song that sounds like Fall Out Boy, but better. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I totally, like, the magic is making it even better. Shout out to Annabeth, who is, quote-unquote, dancing with some minor godling.
I have questions. Who?
My girl has game. She immediately was, like, getting whisked away.
I want to know who it is.
Having a good time.
Plot twist, it's actually, like, Percy's half-brother Triton.
Yeah. It's probably some, like, handsome, like, merman. And she's like, ooh.
He looks like Percy. I'm gonna dance with him.
Night out on the town. Yeah.
I'm glad that Dionysus gets to chill with his wife. And this is, like, the only time he really gets to see her.
Yeah. And Percy's like, he looked happy for the first time. Oh my god.
Yeah. I love them. Grover is going nuts on coffee.
Pan.
Grover, I don't know that was it.
Little foreshadowing for the next book.
Grover, honey.
Grover's just like, coffee is the answer. No, now you just have an addiction. I'm sorry.
I find it really fascinating that, like, after this display of power, the gods just, like, shrink down and are just like, woo, party time. And they're just, like, chatting Percy up. Just, like, hanging out.
Imagine them just still being, like, so tall, like 15 feet tall or whatever. Like, and just still dancing and, like, talking with them. Everything's the same, but they're still gigantic. That's terrifying. Don't like that.
Emotionally, that's what's happening. Physically, they may be small, but...
True. You know what? Percy and Apollo getting together, driving the sun chariot, doing archery lessons. Why can't that happen?
Okay, it does sound like a bad idea. Like, Percy is right, but also, just be bros with Apollo. It sounds like a great time.
I see no problems here.
Poseidon and Percy talk.
Yeah, they're...
Indeed.
My god. Hi, Dad! Awkward.
They've had, like, a sort of, like, debrief before, but nothing that felt, like, very personal, as, like, two people instead of, you know, as a god and his kid, you know?
This is the first time they're on the same level, like, physically.
Yes.
I really appreciate how whenever Percy and Poseidon interact, there really is this sense that Poseidon is jumping into it in the middle of a relationship. Like, even though Percy has never known his father, we get the sense that Poseidon has always known Percy and has always kept his eyes on him. And so whenever they start talking, Poseidon talks to him like he's the heir to his kingdom, you know? Like, he has already been thinking about Percy and, like, planning Percy's steps and, like, offering advice. Like, he knows him, and Percy is just so caught off guard because he does not know his father, you know? But he gets treated with this level of respect and familiarity that is very confusing to him whenever they have these debriefs.
Yeah, he doesn't even know how to react to a fatherly figure in his life who treats him with any kind of respect, you know? I think Percy's had a lot of shitty adults in his life, and that's a lot of the reason that he is the way he is. And so...
Daddy issues.
Someone who he doesn't have a relationship with yet, but who, you know, treats him with that basic respect. It's like, what do I do?
Yeah. And it's just very, like, it's, I don't know that, like, impersonal is the right word, but it is, like, Poseidon treats him like a prince, and he is a king, and they talk about business, and he trusts him, and, like, this is important, you know, and they're just going to talk about what is to come, you know.
Whereas Percy kind of did always want just, like, a dad.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So, yeah, really interesting.
Well... His mom's dating, so...
Dad's a-coming.
I feel like Rick is really, really good at the family dynamics, like this in every series. Like, he knows how to write estranged family members, which I worry about his personal life sometimes, but...
Yeah, like, when we read Rick's first ever book, Big Red Tequila,
Woo, Big Red Tequila!
Oh my god.
That's a true fan.
That also has a lot of daddy issues in it.
Oh yeah, it does. That's the Daddy Issues book. Daddy Issues the novel.
That's like if you ever get Rick on your podcast, what's the one thing you're going to ask him? You're going to be like, tell me about your relationship with Mr. Riordan, Rick.
I couldn't.
Okay, let's not forget he's a junior. So there must be some daddy issues there. Did you not know this?
Oh my god, Rick! I forgot!
Richard Russell Riordan Jr.
And you just know that he's such a good dad, and he probably really worked to be a good father. You guys are really careful about spoilers, you said?
We try to be.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. I was gonna say something about Luke, but it's not important.
Well, yeah, speaking of Luke, he's alive. How?
Don't worry about it. He's got his spine shattered, but he's fine.
Uh-huh.
That's what I wanted to say.
Uh-huh. Yeah, dead silence.
About Luke.
I wonder what happens.
How?
How's he alive?
Where is he drawing some mysterious amount of power from?
Oh.
We'll find out.
Unclear. Maybe, you know what? I was about to say a spoiler too. Well, yeah. Luke is alive. We don't know how, but it's fine. And
Poseidon moves away. Athena comes up to Dr. Percy in what is some of my favorite pages in the entire book.
It's so good.
Straight up tells him that his fatal flaw is loyalty to his friends.
Charlie says every time that Percy's a Hufflepuff. Like 100%. Like we've been like literally talking about him and this. Like we literally just were talking about like, well, if you kidnapped one of Percy's friends, would he destroy the world? Literally, we were just saying this.
Yep. I'm just this is the one thing that I'm always been spoiling. I'm like, no, he's loyal. He's a Hufflepuff. I'm never not talking about that. I don't care that it was only just brought up, but like, I mean, yeah. So she literally, Athena says the same thing that we've been talking about. How his mom was taken Grover was taken. Annabeth was taken. Who's next?
Yep.
What's happening next? You know? Everyone's being taken away from Percy.
I like that as, like, kind of aloof you can think of Athena as being. She's almost personable here. You know, she smiled dryly. She looked almost sorry for me. Like, she doesn't, like, hate this kid, but she's like, no. We can't be having this.
She's vetting him. She's like, I concede my point. You know, like, he is smart. He's not a total dummy. But I still do not approve of your friendship with my daughter.
So
I still basically think it'd be a good idea to disintegrate you. But, like, we can be cordial.
if he wasn't a son of Poseidon and he wasn't interested in Annabeth, she'd be totally cool with him. Like, she wouldn't care. She'd be like, yeah, it's Percy Jackson. Like, we're bros. You know? They'd be great. But there's issues there. There's some old beef.
Toughest mother-in-law ever. 100%.
Yeah, she's
Absolutely.
that mother-in-law. Oh boy.
You're like, oh, your mom's coming over? Oh god. Clean the house. We have to prepare.
Yeah. I also love that, like, when she leaves, she parts, like, the people as if she were carrying Aegis, which is literally her shield.
That's so good.
It's her shield. So,
It's so good.
And then
oh,
Annabeth walks up and she literally reaches out and touches the gray streak in Percy's hair.
Oh my god.
The one that they now have matching. This moment, the way that you can just see Percy just looking like such a dumb boy here. His mouth is probably agape and he is like staring into her eyes and their faces are really close together. And she's like, what did you want to say to me?
yeah.
I was thinking I owe you a dance.
I'm so
Gotta.
glad.
And what does Rick say after that? He says, I don't know what the music sounded like to everybody else. He doesn't even know what the music sounds like to Annabeth. But to him, it sounds like a slow dance. A little sad and a little hopeful, too.
Oh my god. It's very good.
Poor tortured boy.
Yeah. Before we wrap up, we skipped the, like, one thing about, like, Luke and how he's an interesting case.
Yes.
Only a hero can hold up the sky. So.
Or a Titan.
Or a Titan.
No one in Kronos' army would dare. And then he's like, but Luke did it. And it's like, well, he's a special case.
Yeah.
It's like,
I love that line. I love that what that implies about what the gods are talking about, you know? Like, their own private meetings about Luke. The kind of flack Hermes is probably getting. Like, them trying to figure out what Luke is going to do and figure out how to deal with him and all of that. Fascinating.
Luke does have a lot of duality in him because, you know, he's doing horrible things, but at the same time, you still believe that he cares about, like, Annabeth and probably Thalia as well. He's got Backbiter, the dual sword that can kill both mortals and immortals. He's a very duality kind of character. So the idea that Luke is both a head of Kronos' army and also maybe somehow a hero?
You know? But also, not only Percy and Annabeth have those gray streaks, because Luke also lifted up the sky. I'm never gonna stop bringing that up and how creepy it is.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I'm going to reverse my brain, just wind the tape back and pretend you never said that. I refuse to. I actually have to go.
I've been bringing that up like for the past couple chapters. I'm like, let's not forget Luke also has it. It's not a Percabeth thing. Sorry.
I don't want to live in a world where I know that to be true. So, gonna just deny it for now.
I'm glad you're still on brand as always.
I just think that makes Luke and Annabeth's relationship even worse.
Yeah, it does. Yep.
And confusing for her. My poor girl.
True.
But, like, Ray and I talked about how it's also interesting for, like, Percy and Luke to share something like that, because they're kind of two sides of the same coin.
Also in love.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, no, what you said.
I like to think of it as a mark of destinies entwining in different ways.
As long as those destinies keep Luke's hands off of my children.
Same.
Truth, please.
Well, let's move on from that. Erica, where can the people find you on the internet?
You can find us at Seaweed Brain Podcast on Instagram, at Seaweed Brain Pod on Twitter. Who knows how much longer we'll be there. You can follow me on TikTok, erica.seaweedbrain, and we are currently talking about Trials of Apollo, probably still will be when this episode comes out. So join us there. You can listen to our back catalog if you would like. We are re-releasing all our original episodes this fall and winter with some slightly fancier sound editing. So join us for that.
Very nice.
Good stuff. What have you been reading, watching, listening to that you think people of the podcast would enjoy?
Ooh. I just caught up on Abbott Elementary. Shout out to Abbott Elementary. If you're not watching it, you must. Network television is back, as Carter would say. Absolutely deserved all the hype and far more at the Emmys that it got this year. I'm very excited to see the rest of season 2. I also just finished a book called Pizza Girl by Jean Kyung Fraser. It's from 2019, I want to say. And it is absolutely beautiful and very heartbreaking. If you like YA that refuses to come of age and you don't want to read something written by a white man, really excellent.
Awesome.
Delightful.
That's great.
You got anything, Charlie?
Well, yesterday I heard the news that Kevin Conroy passed away. So I started watching Batman the Animated Series for the first time ever. I have not ever seen it, so now that's the thing that I'm watching.
How is it?
It's very interesting. I'm just like, my brain is like, oh, this is the same animation as like Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. Where are the Hex Girls? I'm waiting for it to happen. Ray.
All right. Here, let's go with a goodie. If you haven't seen Fullmetal Alchemist, that's like the best anime.
So I have heard.
Yeah, so
which one is better, Fullmetal Alchemist or Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood?
Brotherhood is better, but also Brotherhood is not the best way to experience the story. If you want the best version, then just read the goddamn manga. It's so fucking good. Neither of the anime adaptations can compare. The manga has more details. Brotherhood, because it came after the original series, they skipped a lot of the, like, beginning parts. They don't do a lot of those details because they're like, oh, you got it. You've seen it. No, I haven't. I'm watching your show as its own show. Yeah. So watch Brotherhood or read it because it's so good. The artist is incredible. She's hilarious. She has little like gag comics at the ends of the volumes. And I think that's the ideal way to experience the story, but that's just me, so.
I love that. Love that for you. Well, y'all need to get out of my fucking cabin, cause I guess the gods are gonna go vote to kill me. I'm probably gonna get disintegrated.
No, bro, we just gotta compare them to their dad, and then they'll get, like, upset about it.
That'll work.
You can follow the podcast socials at Of the Eldest Gods Pod on Instagram and at Of the Eldest Gods on Twitter. You can send an iris message to us through oftheeldestgodspod@gmail.com. If you'd like to support us financially, go to patreon.com/oftheeldestgods. By becoming a patron, you can join the Movie Night Crew Network server, where you get to chat with us and hear some no-context spoilers about episodes we are recording. I personally recommend the $5 tier, where you get access to Against All Odds, our bonus show where we talk about basically anything vaguely related to mythology, Percy Jackson, or whatever we like. We also have a merch store on TeePublic, where all our designs are made by Charlie. Or if you cannot support us financially, please give us a review on iTunes and rate us on Spotify to help others know how much you love this podcast. You can follow me, Ray, at HeyHeyRay on Twitter. I also have another podcast called Barbie Movie Slap, where my co-host Ted and I talk about the Barbie cinematic universe. You can check out that podcast Twitter at Barbie Slaps.
You can follow me, Charlie, at GreenPixie12 on most platforms, but on Twitter, I'm at GreenPixie123, which I'm totally not salty about. I also have an art Instagram that I sometimes use at GreenPixieDraws. I sometimes do the YouTube thing on my channel, Charlie Mack, that's MACK, and I also have another podcast on the network called Fandoms Gone Wrong, where my mom and I talk about movies, TV shows, books, whatever other fandoms we enjoy. You can find that on all the major podcast podcasting apps. Our music was written by Isabel Strauss-Riggs and recorded and edited by Ian M. Riggs. You can find Izzy at Kane_I, that's I as in the body part, on Instagram and Twitter. She also currently makes video essays on the YouTube channel Kane I. Feel free to message her about making music for your project or editing your podcast. Of the Oldest Gods is proud to be part of Deus Ex Media, which features great podcasts like Content and Capable that follows Sam as he tries to figure out what it truly means to adult.
Hi, my name's Sam, and I've recently become an adult. But why does adulting have to suck? Join me on my journey to rediscover the joy of following your passions as an adult and discuss it with people who are doing just that. I'll sit down with a variety of people from all walks of life and ask the important questions while trying to figure out what does it really mean to adult. Whether you're a pro or haven't even started, come and listen wherever you get your podcasts and hopefully you might learn a thing or two.
Of the Eldest Gods is based on the series by Rick Riordan. Right now we are discussing Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Remember to follow us on your favorite podcatcher and meet us back here every Thursday.
I'm worried about my book. I hope I can keep it with me for the rest of my life, but I don't know. It's very brown.
Oh.
Very mildewy. I have book tape though, so the spine is all safe.
That's a nostalgic look of a book, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, my Lightning Thief is signed by Rick, and it's also ripped up. Like it's destroyed.
That's so special.
Deus Ex Media.